Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good afternoon to all the viewers. Clearly, it's an interesting day of trade. In fact, a day of record highs for the Indian markets as well. In fact, India has become the fifth largest stock market in the world in terms of market cap. It's beaten France. So that's one point. Sensex has crossed a key hurdle of 63,000 in trade. So we're just around 500 to 600 odd points away from live fire levels. You have Bank Nifty also that has hit a record high, and you have Nifty Mid Cap 100, which has hit record high in today's session. So, an interesting day of trade. To discuss more from a technical perspective, Gaurav Bissa, Vice President Incred Equities, joins in. Gaurav, welcome to the show and a very good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you and your viewers, and thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Always a pleasure to have you. Gaurav, my first question coming to you is the kind of levels that we are tracking specifically from Nifty and Bank Nifty perspective seems to be pretty interesting because this was something that not everyone was really expecting, that this smoother rally we will see. How do you think strength is expected to continue? And if yes, what levels are we tracking?
As a matter of fact, we have been expecting such kind of move in Nifty and Bank Nifty, and this is what we have been advising to our clients as well. To answer the question, yes, there can be some amount of consolidation for a day or two probably, and Nifty may slip towards 18,450, 500. But at this point in time, a major correction is not expected, and Nifty can head towards fresh lifetime high levels in next a couple of weeks. So the structure remains quite positive. Large cap stocks are doing well. Multiple sectors, large sectors are doing well. So I don't see a reason why Nifty should be pulled down very lower. And US markets have been stable as well. So things are looking good for Nifty. For Bank Nifty, things are even better because in the last 7 8 trading sessions, we have seen Bank Nifty underperforming Nifty. When Nifty was making fresh highs and it was getting very strong, Bank Nifty was one that was failing to cross the previous resistance area of 44,160. It opened with a gap up mode today, in line with how the global markets or in the Nifty also opened up. And it has managed to sustain, though there has been some amount of profit booking, a small profit booking towards the end, but overall it has managed to sustain above the breakout area of 44,150, 160. So as long as this is sustained, it can go towards the level of 45,000 and above in a short period of time because these are fresh breakouts. And the outperformance can again return back to Bank Nifty as compared to Nifty going forward. So in my opinion, both indices are looking good. I would not recommend buying them right away, but both are good to add on declines.
Right, so buy on declines is the strategy. So Gaurav, if you see the wicks, right, again there is an uptick of around 3%, but we're still below the 13 mark, and clearly it's dropped below 12 as well in terms of Friday's session. If you see the PCR OI at around 1.37, which is pretty much close to the upper band, what is that indication giving us? Is that clearly indicating a sense of strength from here on?
For VIX, I don't think that is the case.
Excuse
VIX
me.
has history of trading in range. The earlier range used to be around 14 to 17, 17 and a half. Then when it used to go out of the range, the new range used to be 18 to 22. And now the new range is around 11 to 14 or something like that. So I don't see that as a very big negative. If you see whether in terms of CBOE VIX or India VIX, you will find that the prices, the indices have gone up along with the VIX index. And that basically shows the lower side of this. It basically shows that people are not very scared, not fearful about this rally. They are not too confused as such. And that is why the confidence is being shown by lower VIX values. So I don't see that can give a very good downside. Yes, if it goes above 17 half, 18, and if it starts trading around those levels, then yes, there will be a strong profit booking that can be seen. But till the time it does not happen, and still it's long way to go, I don't see VIX influencing Nifty probably on a very immediate basis, 1 or 2 days, yes. But over whether it will change the trend from here, I don't think so. Same is the case with PCROI. Yes, there can be some amount of profit booking, but if you see last 15, 20 days or the entire rise that we have seen from 17,200 to around 18,500, you will find that a lot of times people have got too comfortable writing put options because those who have written call options are forced to cover their positions. And there has been good amount of writing. You look at 18,500 for the current weekly series, you will find such comfortable writing happening. So in that perspective, yes, PCR can even rise further and a small correction can lead to normalization of PCR over as well. So I don't think they are going to add too much of pressure on Nifty going forward.
Right. Gaurav, talking about individual stocks as well, you have the bank and financial names that are in focus. Let's start with the ICICI General Insurance. A heavy long built up that has been seen in today's session. What would you recommend an investor to do?
See, if somebody has bought for maybe 1 year horizon or maybe more, then probably you can buy here on on small declines that can be added. But if somebody wants to buy fresh for trading perspective, I would totally avoid, because if you look at the charts that we are seeing today, even with the over addition that you're talking about, you will find that the candle that has been formed is a very weak one. We call this as a rejection candle, so to speak of. So I would be a little bit skeptical. I would not jump in the stock right away. Probably any declines towards 11:30, 11:35, that can be good opportunity to add for trading perspective, for medium perspective as well, but not at the current junction.
Right. How are you looking at Indiabulls Housing Finance as well? Because a similar trend seen.
See, to be honest, this group is something which is on my avoid list for time being. It is extremely volatile, and for that very reason, I don't advise these stocks to my clients at Inter Capital. But yes, if somebody wants to take a view, then probably 120 closing is what is needed. Once it gives a close above 120, you will see a decent breakout, which can push it towards level of 130, 132. So that is going to be a trade. Till the time it is trading below 120, I would not be too keen to add it.
Right. So that's with regards to Indiabulls Housing Finance. Moving on, M&M is an interesting one to watch out for post earnings as well. A good up move seen in today's session. And from a valuation perspective as well, analysts are of the opinion that there is, some bit of re-rating that could be on the cards for the company. From a derivative and chart perspective, how are you seeing it, Gaurav?
See, we had advised trading positions in M&M at lower levels, but again at here, even if I want to buy, my stop losses will be around 1260, which is the 21 exponential moving average on daily chart. So for me, it is not a worthwhile add at these levels, only because the this was not in favor. Otherwise, structure is good. Any declines towards 1295 can be bought into, keeping a stop loss of 1265, and play for 1340 kind of levels, but not at the current junction.
Right. ITC has been hitting life highs as well, clearly. You still see some scope of buying opportunity at current levels?
I would not recommend buying fresh. See, but it is trading in a positive zone. It was trading in a rising wedge. It gave a breakout of rising wedge, and that makes it a lucrative buy. Any decline towards 430, 435, I think that's a good level to buy. You can keep a 10-point stop loss play for 30, 40 points target. It's seen MACD crossover as well. So, and RS is also inching higher. Things are looking good. It can move more from the current level also. But if I want to keep a stop loss, and again, you need to have at least 30-point stop loss. So if that is something one can manage, then yes, it can be bought at the current juncture. Otherwise, the optimal levels will be to buy if it goes towards the level of 435.
Right. Gaurav, you have City Union Bank as well as GMR Infra. Both of these counters, you've seen some good short positions that have been taken. What should the strategy be?
City Union can go towards 121. If I were to create fresh shorts, for me, as long as it is trading above 121, the risk will not be in the favor. For one, you can see it's trading in a range. So earlier, the resistances were at levels of 145 and supports at 120, 121. So it's trading in the support area. If it gives a move below 120, there will be a good breakdown. Then one can either buy a put option or create fresh short positions. That is the way stock can be traded. As far as GMR is concerned, we have recommended GMR Infra for somebody with long-term view, keeping the stop loss of 37, 36 and playing for targets of 55, 60. So in my opinion, it's a good stock to enter into. But for somebody who wants to trade for next 2 or 3 days or in futures, I would not recommend it. But for somebody who can have a horizon of 1 year or maybe 2 year, then I think this one is very much in favor.
Right. How about your ONGC in trade today? Clearly, and Balakrishna Industries. In fact, both these counters are seeing a short build-up.
See, even though they might have seen a short build of getting built, at least for ONGC, if you see, it's been forming very strong pattern forming higher tops, higher bottoms. So, in such cases, if you are on the short side, you need to see whether there's a reversal or not, because one day long short can be not conclusive, so to speak of. And if you look at the candle today, we have seen a very smart pullback coming in from 156 levels. So from here, I would say if somebody wants to trade, one can keep a stop loss of 156 and buy it, and the target for here will be around 166, 167. Once it gives a close above that, you can expect for further upside. So in my opinion, I would be a buyer in ONGC.
A buyer in ONGC is what Gaurav says. Coming to the HDFC twins, some good contribution coming into the market up move in today's session. And plus, the next 4 to 5 weeks are going to be crucial as well. And that's what everyone is watching out for with regards to where the merger completion goes. Run up to the merger, what are charts and derivative data indicating?
For HDFC, it's in a range-bound stock. We are not seeing aggressive portions getting built up, but for HDFC Bank, we have seen some amount of long roads getting carried over, and structure is also quite positive. We have recommended HDFC Bank in futures as well. One can keep a stop loss of 3%, 4% from the current price. And on the upside, we are expecting around 1720, 1725. Once it gives a close about 1725, it can see another 10% upside from there. So this one is very much in favor for somebody who wants to play for 1 month. I mean, for the June series, or it's for somebody who wants to play for next 3 months, rolling over the question. So for both perspective, HDFC Bank looks good, and unless HDFC Bank doesn't perform, you cannot expect Bank Nifty to flare up. And now that we are seeing Bank Nifty being quite robust, then I think the strength will come to likes of HDFC Bank, IndusInd Bank, and ICICI Bank for that matter.
Gaurav, from the names that we've already discussed, anything else that comes to your radar that one should be watching out for from tomorrow's trade perspective?
One that stands out for me is going to be IndusInd Bank. I'm just waiting for a decent close about 1290. But I think this is one that is really good, interesting. People, when talk about Bank Nifty, they talk about ICICI, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank. But in my opinion, IndusInd Bank is gearing for a very strong and very robust upside from the current junction. So if it gives a close about 1290, one can expect 10% upside. That can happen in a month also. Risk reward is in the favor as well. So that is something that should be on the radar.
Gaurav, one question coming in from the viewers as well in terms of the metal space. How are you reading the metal index from here on, and anything that you would want to recommend there?
So I have been avoiding metal names for a couple of months now. I had shared a similar setup with you. This month, at least I'm positive for technical reasons more than the F&O part. There can be temporary upside that we can see in metal names, and from here on, a national element is something that we have recommended to our clients also. It's looking quite interesting. So that is one thing that should be on the radar. It can see a move towards 92, 93, and it can see a strong outperformance as well.
Right, so that's with regards to the metal space as a whole. Thank you, Gaurav, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views overall in terms of stock-specific action. And as we mentioned, it has been an interesting day of trade. Clearly, we are just a couple of points shy from 15,600 in terms of closure. Let's see what that settles in at. 18,598 is what it's looking like, with gains of around 0.5% coming in there. Bank Nifty as well, a little shy of 300 points up move, 44,300, a little above 44,300 is where Bank Nifty has ended. Clearly outperformance with gains of around 0.7%. M&M, Titan, Coal India, Tata Steel, as well as an Ultratech Cement are the top gainers, whereas ONGC continues the downward pressure, the top loser on the back of earnings. Divis Laboratories, HCL Tech, Maruti, as well as Power Grid are few of the other losing stocks as well. Let's quickly see in terms of what's happened with the Sensex, because the major contribution came in from the HDFC twins to the tune of almost little over 130 odd points. ITC, Reliance Industries, as well as M&M and SBI, these were the top contributors in terms of the gains that we've seen on the Sensex as well. A 350-point rally on that front. 62,846. We've closed below the 63,000 mark, which we crossed in intraday early trade as well. In terms of stock-specific action, if you see on the Sensex, clearly on the gaining end, you had companies like a DB Realty, 12% up move. Bajaj Hindustan, an interesting one, 10.5%. ICICI Lombard, Mahindra Life, a few of the other gainers. Whereas on the losing end, you had a Finolex Cables, which was down in trade, Iron Exchange was down, Greaves Cotton saw cuts of almost 10.5%, Balkrishna Industries on the back of earnings was under pressure. So clearly a lot of stock specific action, but a lot of record highs is what we've seen in today's session, with the Bank Nifty hitting a record high, the Nifty Mid Cap 100 Index also hitting a record high, and you have the Sensex as well as Nifty just a couple of points away from record high levels. And India has been the fifth largest market in terms of market capitalization in the world. So it's already taken over France. So that's an interesting aspect that we've been tracking in today's day of trade. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.